Hello and welcome to our RLCS Birmingham Open EU event number 3 predictions. I have a very shocking prediction that I will be making in this video. Well, you'll just have to watch and find out. So, what have we got here? We've got, to start out, we've got Carmine Core versus Sick. Now, as a reminder, Carmine, if you haven't watched the first two events, won both of them and is looking like the best team in the world. So to pick anyone against them right now would be rather bold, right? So who's Sick and can they beat them? It's Beastie, Jay Waits, and Uncle Bill. Yeah, that's going to be a 3-0 for me. I don't think that's even going to be fun to watch. I think Carmine is so dominant that it's just gonna, they might hold him to no goals. But we'll see, you know. I kind of like the idea of underdog, but if Carmine went to the lowers there, that would be extremely shocking. Then we've got Vitality GK. Vitality, of course, is the world champ team, aka Monkey Moon, Exotic, and Zen, who was a world champ in the previous year. And then GK is Archie, Joyo, and Oli. Fun team to watch, tough team to support. A lot of people I see that are fans of this team. A lot of people are fans of Joyo, and he's fun to watch, but they just don't really win that often. And I think against Vitality, not going to be 31. I think like a 3-1 or a 3-2 is realistic here. Maybe a 3-1. I just don't see GK doing big things here and getting an upset, even though it is an important tournament for them. Now let's talk about Ninjas in Pajamas, which is Itachi, Nas, and Oski versus Synergy, which is AJG, Dorito, and Tekos. Fun team to watch. Both of these teams are going to be fun to watch. I actually wouldn't be surprised if this match is a little bit closer, but I do think Nas is starting to peak, and so I think 3-1's realistic. Would not be shocked at a 3-2. Also would not be shocked at a 3-0 Ninjas win because they've been looking very good coming into their form. Itachi, for me, is probably a top 10 player in the world, so I feel like he's just a fun player to watch, and any team that has him on it, I like their odds. Gentlemates, which is, why am I losing the logo here? There they are. Sorry. I was looking for green, and they have a white logo here on Liquipedia. It's Juicy, Seiko, and Redosin. Redosin, of course, teamed with Zen and Alpha 54 last season. They split up. Vitality brought on Monkey Moon and Exotic, who had won the World Championship last season with Drawley. Drawley moved over to Carmine. Those two other guys moved to Vitality to create a dream team, and Redosin got bumped here, and then Alpha 54, I think, basically soft retired, or maybe is still playing but doesn't have a top-level team that he's playing with. I haven't seen anything from him recently. Anyways, that was a digression. We're looking at Juicy, Seiko, Redosin, obviously a very strong team. Most people would have considered this EU3 at the start of the season, but they've really struggled here, and they have not had a good start, so they need a good tournament. Now, they're against Ascend, Nico, Matt, Juke, who have been really hot and had a great Swiss run, I believe. Let me see. Can I pull that up? Actually, I think it's going to be easier if I pull up that here in this document on the right that Cody VRL made for this. So let's see, how did Ascend do? Ascend. What am I looking at wrong here? Why am I not seeing them? Were they in Swiss B? Okay, they were in Swiss B. Sorry, for some reason I thought they were in A there. So they 3-0'd Cash Only. Then they 3-2'd Redemption. Redemption is Cash, Toxic, and Smokes. And then they lost. They got 3-0'd by Start Point, which is Eugen, Mitane, and a Chronic. Kind of a surprising result, if you ask me. Then they got 3-0'd by Vitality. They kind of picked a bad, they drew a bad deal here. And then they went 2-2 to then beat Eye of Ra. I don't know the team off the top of my head, and I don't want to get too off to the side on this video. I like Ascend a lot. I think Gentlemates is going to come in with a specific plan to beat them. But I think of all these 4 matchups, this is the one I would be most interested in watching, followed by the Vitality, GK, Ninjas, and then last but not least would be Carmine. And it's just because I don't really expect them to do that well. I think also I'd like to do all of Group A and then do all of Group B. So I'm going to try to keep it all on one screen this time. Usually I'm like scrolling around or whatever. I'm trying to keep it easy. Now here we've got what many people would consider grand finals, which is Carmine Vitality, but it's in the second round of day 1. I think it's hard to pick against Carmine Corp right now. So I think for that reason, I'm going to put this as a close series. Probably OT Game 5, super close. But it's hard to pick against Carmine right now until later in the tournament. But we will wait till we get there. Now we've got Ninjas Gentlemates. The last time they played, I believe Ninjas kind of kicked their rear end of Gentlemates. And let me see if I can find that real quick. Where was this at? Ninjas. No, they haven't played. Oh, it's my bad. That must have been event 1. Because they didn't get a chance to play in Open 2 because Gentlemates went out pretty early. Ninja Gentlemates. It was 4-3. Okay, closer than I remember it being, actually. And it looks like there was an OT win at the end and then a 4-3 on Champions Field. Super close game. You know, I think Ninjas is a little bit hotter right now, but to bet against Seiko just feels wrong. I might get bit by saying this, but it seems like he's too good to go out. Now, granted, Itachi, because he's in a new org, is going to have his revenge game, so therefore I'm going to give this a 3-2 close game. And I think this round right here, that's pretty awesome that we're going to get to watch this on day 1. So where's that put Carmine Ninjas? I think Carmine has a very stylistically advantageous matchup to Ninjas. I do think Ninjas will have a game plan designed to play Carmine because they know that they expect to play them in this tournament. But I think Carmine, until we see otherwise, we got to pick them to go further. Okay, now, where's that put the lower bracket? We've got some great teams down here. We've got Sick versus GK. I like GK here over Sick, but I think that's a close matchup. Synergy, which is AJG, Dorito, Tekos, and Ascend, which is the new French team. I think I like Ascend here. And I think this one's also close. You know, I honestly have to admit, I don't have a ton of ball knowledge about some of these teams, so I'm picking based on the players I know and some previous results. I think there's a lot of hype around Juke right now as an up-and-coming French player. And Matt and Nico are also... I've been seeing, like, them gaining traction on the Rocket League esports subreddit, so that's probably a good team to watch. So that dude's Gentlemates GK. I think that's a 3-1 maybe, and then Vitality. I think I just don't see a world where they go out, but I do think they're going to get a challenge by Ascend, and I think this is going to be... It's kind of interesting because I feel like Vitality has a better matchup against Gentlemates than they do Ascend because these guys have played each other a bunch of times, and we haven't really seen Gentlemates do much against them this year. So I think Carmine, Ninjas, Vitality, Gentlemates, very safe picks. If anyone gets swapped out, it's likely to be Gentlemates if they crash out of the tournament, and they could be replaced by, just depending on how the seeding goes. It's plausible that they get replaced by GK. with how I have it seated here, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Ascend made it to the Final Four based on the form we saw from them. I just don't expect Carmine Ninjas or Vitality to drop out this early in the tournament. That'd be pretty unexpected. Now, let's go Group B. Let me grab a drink of water. Let me know if you think I'm cooking or if these are bad picks so far. Reminds me of NA's Open 2 event where it was like a group of death on one side and then there was like the chill side. So this is the chill side. Start point, Eugen, Mitane, Acronic, fast forward. Or maybe just forward, right? Edge B, Mike Boy, Compact. I think based on the Swiss run that we saw, I like start point here. I actually like the way that... Were they Swiss Group A or Swiss Group B? Swiss Group B. 3-1 Descend, 3-2 Sick, and 3-0 Descend, 3-1 Atom Unity, who just barely missed it. Who's on Atom Unity? Sorry. Forceful, Velocity, and Except. Okay. I'm going to say start point got a Mickey Swiss. No offense to them or the hard work they've done. And I think forward wins on this one slightly. Compact's really fun to watch play, isn't he? I don't know. I feel like of these players, he's the one where I see clips from him playing and I'm like, that was awesome. Now we've got 100% Redemption. 100% is Louis P, Acro, and Rezi. Acro's super fun to watch. Well, really this whole team has been fun to watch and kind of had a breakout season. Redemption is Cash, Toxic, Smokes. This is a good team, but I think 100% has more to gain. And I think they 3-1 them, or maybe 3-2 them. Let me go 3-2. I like the experience on Redemption. I think Cash is a very solid player. Toxic, very solid player. I don't know a ton about Smokes, but that's more my lack of knowledge than anything. For him, we've got Dignitas, RRG. Dignitas would be what most people would consider the best team on this side of these top 8, especially since they went to the grand final with K-Corp during the last Open 2. So I think that is going to be a 3-1. I think it's very plausible RRG gets 2 games off of them, but I don't expect them to beat Dignitas. I expect Dignitas to win this side of the bracket. JJ Rocks, which is Mark by 8, Steak, and Rees, RXII. That's a Spanish team versus Caliente, which is Sizen, Growly, and K-Dop. I liked how JJ Rocks played last tournament because I think they actually got top 10. But I think... I don't know what to expect for this. I'm going to give it to JJ Rocks because I think they played a little bit better in the last Open. But if Caliente won this, I would be like, okay, yeah, not surprised at all. Fast Forward. Sorry, I keep wanting to say Fast Forward, but the team name is Forward, isn't it? It's just the F before it makes me want to say Fast Forward. HB Mike Boy Compact, 100% Louis P, Acro Rezi. I like them here, but I think this would be a fun series. 3-2 for 100%. Dignitas, JJ Rocks, I think it's a 3-0. I think the best Spanish player right now is Stizzy, or at least the one most people would consider like the hottest player out of Spain right now, or like having the peaking the most right now would be Stizzy. And I think that they win this one, but I think they have a long day. Well, not too long of a day. 3-1, 3-0, and then 3-2. And then I think Dignitas wins this side of the bracket. The level of competition between these two brackets is just silly. But that's a whole different conversation. Start point, Redemption. As a reminder for myself, really. Start point is Eugen, Mitane, Acronic. Redemption is Cash, Toxic, Smokes. I like start point here, but I think it's close. RRG versus Caliente. I think I like Caliente over RRG here. I'm not the biggest RRG. I'm definitely not a hater, but I don't... Let me see how many points they've got right now. I don't think that they're So we've got RRG has got 5 points and Caliente's got 5 points. That's an interesting matchup for them. Now, obviously, neither one of them are going to qual to go to Birmingham, but I feel like between the two teams, I like Caliente better for that matchup. JJ Rock's start point. I think start point wins here. I think fast forward wins here. And I think fast forward wins there. But to be honest, I don't know so much about this side of the bracket. These teams, all of these teams, could be fun to watch games, could be tough to watch games, depending on, your outlook on what team you're cheering for. But this side of the bracket is just hilarious compared to the other side of the bracket. Okay, so where's that put us in the quarterfinals? This one I'll work left to right. Vitality start point, that I think is a 4-0. I don't think start point's going to get a game off of Vitality. Could be wrong about that. Let me check the Swiss one more time. So yeah, start point had an easier run. Vitality did lose to Selikau, but then Selikau ended up not qualing. That is a hilarious result for someone who's not plugged into that team or anything. I'm sure that's a heartbreaker. If you're cheering for that team, they beat Vitality in Swiss, and then they lose to go 3 and out after that. You've got to be heartbroken after that. That is brutal. Fast forward, Gentlemates giving it to Gentlemates. Maybe a little bit closer match, but I think that is the peak for forward. For what I would see. Carmine 100%. I think we 4-1 them. I say we. I think we select a 4-1 Carmine winning. 100% maybe gets a game in the middle of that series would be my prediction. Dignitas Ninjas. Obviously, Appjack, Jories, and Stizzy versus Itachi, Nas, and Oski. I actually like Ninjas here, but I think it's a close game. And it's kind of interesting how this is shaping up. Now, 100% Vitality. I like that. I think it's a little bit closer than Carmine, but I think those two teams are still kind of sitting at the top of the range. And you've got teams like Ninjas, 100%, Dignitas, and Gentlemates that are trying to punch into that 3rd and 4th spot in Europe right now. Dignitas Gentlemates, I think Dignitas handles business here, but I think that's a long series. I think Dignitas then gets kind of bullied here because they haven't really shown us too much of that, although I'm sure they're watching a lot of tape about what Carmine did against them, and they're going to have a game plan. I like that better. I think Vitality wins against Ninjas, and for some reason in my mind, it's not close. Vitality starts heating up here. Now here is where I get to make my controversial pick. Given that we have yet to see Vitality do... Scratch that. We had a very close series in Open 1 that went to Game 7 overtime, where Carmine barely beat Vitality. Since then, Carmine has pretty much owned the region and therefore effectively owned the world. As we know, EU has the most high-level competitive teams, the most top 10 teams of any region in the world. So EU, as an NA fan, and no issues with admitting that EU's top level quality is higher. They have more high quality teams in this region, which makes it very fun to watch, especially since I don't particularly cheer for one EU team more so than any others. I think this is when Stella gets her groove back. I think this is when we see Monkey Moon do some awesome things, aka be annoying as the midman. And I think more so than Zen, this is the time for Exotic to show us why he got MVP at Worlds last year. If Exotic doesn't show up, Zen cannot carry this team because Drawley is too good. Vatira is too good. Atto is too good. Those three players combined is an absurd team. but so is Vitality. I think they give us what the fans want. Game 7, Champ Field. Vitality wins a close match. Is that a controversial take? Is that a trash take? Let me know what you think. I've been watching some Twitch streams from Zen and from Vatira and Atto and some of the other players, Nas, apparently Jack. There's been a ton of really fun streaming going on this last week on Twitch for these players. And most of them just stream like no microphone, just playing music and playing the game or whatever. It's 2v2 content. But it's been very fun to watch. And from what I saw, of my limited time, what I saw was Zen was peaking pretty hard on some pro players that many people would consider some of the best players in the world. Zen was peaking pretty hard on them. Now, I think you could also make the same argument for Drali or Vatira, who are both playing excellent. I'm sure if you looked up the ranked leaderboards right now, they're like all in the top 5 probably. And then Nas, of course, as well. Super high MMR for ranked 2s and ranked 1s. He might be number 1, close with Moxie in that region. But anyways, I am predicting Vitality win this series. I'm going mostly off my gut, and I'm going off a little bit of field research that I've done. I think Vitality is ready to show the world that they can beat K-Corp. I'm not cheering against K-Corp, let me be clear. But I think this is the time when we're going to see that, and I'm very excited as a fan. So, here's my countdown here. Let me know if you think I cooked. Unfortunately, with how this bracket works out, I would actually want to put like GK and Ascend in 7th and 8th, and then Start Point and Forward would be moved lower, but that's just not how the bracket works out. And, you can't have 7 or 6, you can't have 6 people from one side of the bracket go and, 4 people from the other side of the bracket go, or whatever the breakout is. You got to pick your top 8 teams from those 2 brackets, and if you got put in a tough situation, then you can only play the teams that you're up against, and you can't lose twice. So that is what's going to make it fun to watch. I will definitely be tuned in for the whole thing and watching very closely. Thank you so much. Let me know who you picked. Let me know if you think K-Corp's going all the ways, or if you're going for a stealth pick of Ninja, Dignitas, or even a different team. Honestly, picking someone outside of these top 4 would be a pretty spicy take right now. Like picking Gentlemates are 100% to win this. That's a very hot take. And I would love to see you or read your defense of that or hear from you about that. So let me know what you think. We'll be watching some great Rocket League. And obviously we're all super excited for this Birmingham major. This is the last Open for EU. I'll be making a recap video after the event. So look for that Monday or Tuesday after the event. And then I'll also be putting out an NA predictions next week as well. So please subscribe if you'd like to see that video. Thank you so much. Hope you have a wonderful day or evening or both, and have a great day. Bye.